Hi, this is Professor Mel, and I decided to do a video announcement for Module 3. And so I wanted to go over a few things in Module 3 and welcome you to Week 3. And so I really look forward to reading your writing notes from last module and to make a clarification between the writing notes and the writing plan. The writing notes are pretty informal. And so you can really give a broad brush idea of what your persuasive essay topic is, what you're thinking of doing, what resources you're going to need to help support yourself through that, and also what kinds of ways you're going to bring in your key ideas. So that should be shorter, the writing notes. Then based on the feedback that you get from the writing notes, you're going to look at limiting your topic, things like what specific sources are you going to use, what specific 3 or 4 main points are you going to make, and really they can turn into your paragraphs for your draft. The writing plan is due this week, and you are going to be looking at a variety of the same things that you did for writing notes, but it's going to be more in depth. And so for this week, you're looking at your argument again, your key points, your audience, the same questions, but also just expanding on those. So if I were you, based on the writing notes and thinking through it for another week, getting my feedback, getting your peers' feedback, even the Writing Center can help. Then based on all of that, you'll be writing your writing plan. And you can still say I in this. You can still keep it somewhat informal. I plan to do this. I plan to look at these resources. These are the challenges I predict. Because remember, this isn't your draft. There's a difference between the writing notes and plan and the draft. The draft is going to look a lot more formal. It's going to have the third person. You're going to be looking at your grammar, at your syntax, and also your supporting sources. It's going to look more like something you would publish in a magazine or something you would publish in a newspaper. But for the writing notes and plan, you're really looking at what you plan to do, kind of behind the scenes of the performance, if you want to think about that. And so when you're planning and you're being intentional about what you want to do, that's when you're really thinking through that. And I want to see that thought process. So hopefully that helps explain a little bit. And so in addition to the looking at your ideas, your audience, same questions, you're also looking at a few additional things, how your revision strategies, how you plan to revise throughout this. As well as how you're going to receive feedback, not only from me, but from outside parties, how that feedback is going to be integrated. Not all feedback needs to be integrated. Sometimes you might get feedback from me or the Writing Center and then friends that are different perspectives and different questions. And so you have to think through then how you're going to go about getting that feedback. And so in addition to those main assignments, the writing notes this week, the writing notes last week, Module 2, and then moving into this week, Module 3, the writing plan, you're also going to be looking at sources, which is actually one of my favorite pieces of the research process, believe it or not. But I'm an English teacher, so I guess that makes sense. And so I'm looking at the Module 3 right now. You're going to be evaluating your sources and annotating them. And so as you move through this process of looking at getting sources that are meaningful, don't just choose the first one you see on the first database. Try different databases in the library. Sometimes based on your topic, you might choose a different database. For instance, if you're doing something with history, which I know someone is, then you want to look at historical databases. Databases are like little filing cabinets that hold different sources and different topics. And so one database might have a different set of articles and sources that you can get and access than another one, depending on what your theme is, depending on what your topic is. And so you're going to be evaluating them using a specific method and looking at how a good source is. And so not all sources are created equal, and you're going to have to be looking at and evaluating it with a critical eye. So you don't want to just choose a source, the first one, oh, this has to do with my topic, this is great. You want to look at specific things like currency, when it was published, why it was published, what the purpose is, length, how many sources they have. You're going to be evaluating that. And in addition, as you evaluate your sources, I would suggest to take notes as you're evaluating them, because then you can use it in your annotations. Annotated sources are just having a source. You have your citation, but then you also explain why you actually chose that source, why it fits. What some challenges might be with that source. And by source, I mean an article, a reading, a chapter, anything from outside your head, any information from outside your head. Usually that comes in the form of a scholarly article, but sometimes they're book chapters or dissertations or something. And so that's what you're doing this week is a big week. You're going to be looking at evaluating your sources. So choosing whether or not you want to use them. annotating them. And at this point, you should be pretty comfortable with your topic. You worked a lot on narrowing your topic in the writing notes. So right now you should be comfortable with your topic, your keywords, and be finding those sources that you're going to be able to use and live with them when you write your draft. Then as you write, like I talked about your writing plan, you're going to be talking through those sources again and say what works and what doesn't. So it's a big week, and you're going to be graded on 3 different things: the evaluating sources, the annotating sources, and the assignments. That's 3.2, 3.4, and 3.6. In addition, you're going to be looking at how to do those things. So how to make an argument, how to research, and how to evaluate sources. So I don't want to take up too much more time. This video is turning long anyway, but I wanted to do a little bit different format for the announcement for Module 3, just to give you a little different flavor and to get to know me more. So if you have any other questions about this week, Module 3, you can go ahead and email me at any time. I'm really fast at getting back. Otherwise, I look forward to reading your Module 2 writing notes in a very informal way and giving you feedback as you move forward in the course. Thanks a lot and have a great Monday. Take care.